None of this stuff is hard, and that's the thing. Like, it does take a little bit of time, and it takes maybe a tiny bit of planning. Like, Sean didn't plan. Hey everybody, welcome to the show. I'm your host, Torie Mathis, and I'm here with the one and only Sean Mathis, founder of Through Time Automotive Museum.
Hey, that's me. How's it going?
And lots of people I see say that blogging is dead. What do you think, Sean? You think blogging is done and people should stop doing it for their business?
Newspaper still isn't dead. So the answer would be no.
Absolutely not. People online are looking for information. They're looking for answers to questions. And I think that blogs are the second best choice. I have a first choice, but the second best choice is not bad. I think first choice of getting answers is YouTube videos. Second is absolutely blog articles, because that if you are searching anything on Google, most likely what you're going to find are articles, blog posts on other websites. That's where people are getting their answers, which means that people like to read them because they give them the answers that they want, and Google and other search engines love them because, again, they're providing information for what people are searching for, and Google wants people to be happy. And so Google wants to make sure that they're giving people the answers that they're actually looking for and the content that they're actually looking for. And that's what all these algorithm updates and things like that are generally for, is so that, man, do you remember like 10 years ago, you would go to search for something and then it would put you on this weird landing page with all these other like links of stuff?
Like before Google?
No, this was after Google, but I guess that people used to build out these websites that were like their own little search engine, and then they'd have all these ads on it and stuff. Like Google cleaned all that crap up. Like if you remember, you know what I'm talking about. Like
that's where you get all the viruses and
there'd be all
pop-ups.
these sites and stuff. Like Google's algorithms like try to get rid of all that crap stuff and then deliver like really good information. So if you're answering questions, like answering specific questions that people are searching for, then Google's going to serve up your page as answers for them. And that gives everybody a fantastic opportunity. Like, this doesn't cost anything. It's not like TV commercials a long time ago. You know, you don't have to pay to get in front of people. This is an easy way for your business to get in front of people by just answering questions. Sean has a really good example of this that shows that one blog post can do a whole lot to the amount of traffic, the amount of people that are going to your website. Sean did a little blog post.
Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago. I was looking at the analytics on the website, and so I could see that there was a little bit of a downhill slope on the amount of traffic that was going in there. And I was like, well, what's going on here? And so I was like, all right, I need to create something fresh. I've already told everybody, on the main part of the website, it's like, here's what the museum's about, here's all these things. Like, that's already done. So what's left is a blog post. And I've already got all the content for the museum, so I was trying to think of something else, right? Like, what else can I talk about that still ties it to the museum and do everything? So the museum is very close to the third most visited city in Georgia. And it's a tiny town. It's Helen, Georgia. Third most visited city with a population of like less than 700 people.
Wow. Is it really less than 700? Yeah, crazy.
It's crazy. You'd never know. It's a cool Bavarian town, all that kind of stuff. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna write just something super simple about Helen, Georgia, and how cool that city is, and that Miles Through Time is just 20 minutes away, that you can go and visit and see the antique mall and the antique cars and all this kind of stuff that you can do when you're already going to Helen. And so I typed it up real quick, threw a couple pictures in there, didn't spend a whole lot of time on it. I just puked out a little bit of content, really. And then I shared it on Facebook, I shared it on Google, I shared it on all social medias. Really, it's just I think I did it from like a road trip from Atlanta. Yeah, I think that one was just from Atlanta or Georgia, something like that. Because I've also done it for a road trip from Greenville, South Carolina, because we're about an hour and 15 minutes away from there as well. So these big metropolitan areas where people are already searching, like, what can we do from these areas? I'm going to tell them what they can go do. They can go to Helen, go to the museum, and do a few other things. There's waterfalls. We got a ton of waterfalls around there. So I put out a bunch of stuff there of all these waterfalls. Oh, and by the way, you can also go see a car museum, which is appealing to people. Even the antique, like, people are constantly wanting to go to antique malls. And so if you look, where are antique malls around me, and say 5 of them all show up within the same radius, you could easily go to all of them. But one of them's got a car museum with it. Which one do you think they're going to choose? The car museum.
So how did you figure out what these search terms are? Like, because I was talking about, you got to have questions that people are answering. You have to have terms that people are searching for. So how did you come up with these terms to do the blog posts about?
Some of it was just Googling it, like trying to figure out what is around. Like I'll search Georgia museums. I'll search all kinds of stuff just to see if the museum is pulling up underneath any of those searches. Because again, like you said on the previous episode, if I just search Miles Through Time, I'm like the first 4 pages. Like it's all Miles Through Time.
I sure hope you are, right? Like,
right?
So you got to search beyond your name. You got to get in the shoes of your customers, of your clients, for Sean, for people that would visit the museum or that are visiting other things around that might also go to the museum, and figure out what they're searching for.
Yeah. I mean, people are looking for things to do, so you tell them a few things, and even car museums. I've listed all of them. Like, it's not just about Miles Through Time. You can go to the Miles Through Time. You can go to the memory lanes. You go to the new ones. So there's all kinds of different ones you can go to. Because chances are people are going to go to all of them. It's the same with like a pizza place. You write a blog post that says top 5 pizza places around here. List your competition, but you're on there as well.
Oh my gosh, I think you were reading my mind just now.
Yeah.
Dang, Sean Mathis. Man, so I'm thinking, I went to this real estate convention with a friend of ours that we were doing some marketing things for realtors, and there was this keynote speaker there, and it was all about how realtors should be blogging. And he actually was in, do you remember this story? He did pools or something like that. Like, it was some type of landscaping things, and he was like, you can do this for your business and get found. He, for his business, did the 5 best landscapers or pool installation people, yeah, and wrote a list of them and wrote this big blog post and like described all of his competition, and he put himself at number 3. And so people would look up like best Atlanta, pool installation, whatever, installers, and then find his, because that's what people are searching for, and find his blog post, and then he's not even putting himself on.
Which happens to be on his website. Like, you're already there.
Right, he got them there. Yeah, absolutely.
It totally works for any of them. Dog grooming, restaurants, like anything. You got HVAC companies, the realtors. You just create a list of the top 5, top whatever, and slap yourself in there.
Number 3.
Yeah. And the thing is that the blog post is on your website. So no matter what number, you could be number 10 out of 10. They're already on your website, which means you probably should have a sidebar or something, a contact, learn more. Like, you're the first step. They found you through there. Now, if it falls apart after that and they wind up going to the number 1, there's not a whole lot you can do. But
they might have done that already.
Yeah. I mean, the point is that you're found, and they've gone to your website, which then goes way deeper on the algorithm behind Google that makes it so that your website gets found more because you're getting more traffic to it. So there's more to it than just that one visit. Like, that one visit compounds, and then it gets shown more, and it's a snowball effect on it, and it's all just from putting a little blog post out there.
Well, and Google knows how many people are clicking on each page, like each search option, right? So the more people click on your website, it shows Google that your website is more popular, so it's going to show your website more often. So, and it's not like clickbait, because you really are giving them good information. Yeah. It's not like you're trying to trick anybody like that. But that kind of popular type of post is definitely something that will get people to click. One mistake that I see people make, and we have a couple clients that do this, and we kind of have to figure some things out for them, is that they want to do blog posts and then they send us a picture.
It's brutal.
They'll like do a newsletter or something and they'll take a picture of it and they'll be like, post this to our blog post. Like, the thing about blog posts, the thing about pages on websites is that there has to be text. That is what Google is reading. Google can't look in the picture and see what's actually going on. It has to actually like find actual words that are typed, not words in a picture, in order for it to know what the post is about so it can show people. And then there's also some other things with SEO, like you need to have a description and you need to have your keyword in there. You need to have these different things that are in there, but all those things have in common. They're words that have been typed in there. So if you want to do a post for your business, you want to show a whole bunch of pictures, or you want to show, you want to share something, you got to type up a little bit of something with it. Google prefers over 300 words. Like, that's great if you can. I know sometimes it's probably a little bit hard, but you have to put text in there. Like, Sean could do all kinds of posts that would have to do with different displays or different cars, but he would type up like actual words to go with that, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the most recent one I did, we took, was that last weekend or the weekend before?
Did you do the post on the?
Yeah, I did
okay.
it. So we went and visited a few places that we live in the Atlanta metro. So I mean, we are the demographic. If we weren't the museum, that it would be a place that would be appealing. So we did a real world tour of stopping at one place, taking photos, did all the whole thing, experienced it.
We took a day trip from the Atlanta metro.
Yeah,
right?
and then we went to the museum and did that like normal. And then we went to another spot and we did this whole big full circle thing and took pictures at every spot. So I just typed up a little bit about each location, shared the pictures that we were at, and said that it was a perfect day trip to take. And it's a blog post on Miles Through Time.
So the first place that we went to the school bus graveyard.
Yep.
We took a whole bunch of photos there, which was really fun. Kids got to run around and do a bunch of things. And before we went there, like Bella and I went and searched for school bus graveyard just to kind of find out. People search for it. Yeah. So by Sean doing a blog post about school bus graveyard and putting images out there about school bus graveyard, like, that's just connecting the museum to something that people are already doing. And the fact that it's not only a day trip from Atlanta that you could go to school bus graveyard, but it's also car related, that like really, really connects it, that somebody's going to find the museum and not realize, oh, school bus graveyard is close. Well, we can make a trip and do both of them. Like, if they're already going to be traveling, like, how do you get them to make that? So by making that connection for people through a blog post, you're getting people more likely to come that way to visit both of them. The second place that we went to was like a little zoo type thing. And again, very close to that area. So if people were coming and wanted a day trip and they wanted something to do with their family or with kids, like, that's bringing like a whole different demographic. So not only are you bringing car people, but you're bringing people that want to bring their family and, show them around the whole area. So it's connecting all these different things that are making it more likely for people to find your website. So more people are going to find Miles Through Time because Sean has done those websites or those blog posts, and we took lots of pictures at both places, provide a lot of information. So that way that we're providing value, right, to anybody that's reading that blog post, because the more value that you provide, the more interesting you are, that you throw a few photos in there, then it's likely that people are going to share it. That's another really awesome thing about making blog posts, is they're super duper shareable. People want to give other people that information. So if you think about, like, how can I make this not only informational, but how can I make it so that somebody would actually share it? That's like a win-win. And I think people with those types of day trip things, like, those are totally shareable posts, especially if you put beautiful pictures in there, which are just pictures we took ourselves.
Right. And I mean, it's a really good thing to do if, say, you're not one of the most popular businesses, but there is a really popular attraction business, whatever it is, near you that you can connect with to provide relevant, useful content. Use the pool that they already have to draw yourself and attach to it. If you're a restaurant that is, within a close distance of, the Dallas Cowboys stadium, you're going to want to create a blog post that says you're this fantastic restaurant, maybe one of 3 or something, near the Dallas Cowboys stadium, that when people, the hundreds of thousands of people that are going there for games are finding you. Oh, that's the place to go eat when we go to a game, or the date nights or whatever the case may be.
Well, and when you do that in the blog post, if you actually put the link to those people's website on there, a lot of people have it set up that if somebody links to them, they'll get a notification, which is awesome because everybody wants more media about them. So if you're writing about them, they're likely to share it. Then when you share that on social media, you can tag the Dallas Cowboys Stadium and all those other restaurants. And so they're seeing that not only are you sharing them on social, but you're also writing about them. Then you start to create that whole like network of sharing that maybe they're going to share that to their audience, right? So if you shared the school bus graveyard thing, it's possible that the school bus graveyard would then share Sean's article about school bus graveyard. Like it's linking it. Then they know you, and then they might be more likely to refer you, like if people are there even in person, because now they know who you are. Like it's like so many different ways. Yes, it's great for Google, and yes, it's great for searching, and yes, it's great for customers, but then you're also networking with other people that are going to be the ones to refer you.
Right, and to that point, say you are an HVAC company, like you can do the top 3 or whatever. That's one angle. Or let's say you do just pool installation places, right? You list the top 5 local pool installation places on your HVAC website. It's not even competition. But summertime, people are at the pools, all that kind of stuff. You're doing air conditioning, same world, right? But now you've got 5 different pool installation places that are going to want to share your post to your website, that all those people have air conditioning needs. Like there's a lot of different angles there that you can do that like makes it, and you can make it fun. Like go test out the local parks or do things. About that.
Like we always talk about like a pizza place and stuff like that. Why not say like go to the grab a pizza and go have a picnic or something, and then you do a post on like the 5 parks that are around you. Like there's so many fun things that you can do that make it, again, Google will find it, but then people find it interesting and people want to share that because it's fun stuff that you're doing something a little bit different. And I think that's what we need to look at is how do you make it a little bit different? A museum talking about a city, like that's a little bit different than just a museum talking about cars over and over and over again. Then you got to find people that are only searching for cars, but there's other people searching for things that you can bring them into your world. So you got to branch out a little bit beyond what you're doing so that you can bring other people and other businesses into it. That's awesome.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I can't believe I haven't done it before, but stay tuned. I'm going to write a blog post on Miles Through Time that lists all the restaurants to eat in Clarksville.
That's awesome, yeah.
I hadn't thought of it until just now. Mm-hmm. It has nothing to do with the museum directly, but I'm going to create a piece of content that only lists places to eat. Restaurants, not McDonald's or Wendy's, but like sit down, nicer restaurants just in Clarksville. So because it's a question I do get asked, where can we eat around here? Well, I'm going to provide that so that if they're searching where do we eat in Clarksville, because they're already going to go and visit the museum, now I'm going to pull up an option for them that keeps them on my website that tells them all these places they can go eat. I don't even have to put a whole lot of effort into it, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to Google restaurants in Clarksville, and I'm going to go right down the line, and I'm going to put a little bit of information with each one of them, and I'm just going to list it as a blog post on Miles Through Time.
So then each one will be linked back to their website, and then when you share that on Facebook, you can
I'm gonna make
mention
it so that
all of them.
They're all going to want to share it. If any of them are doing anything on social media, which I hope they are, some of them I wish they would do more, but they're going to want to reshare that.
Have you done one with like 5 best antique malls in North Georgia, and then listed found 5, and then listed, and then this one happens to have a
that's a good
museum
one too.
in it. We can just sit here and come up with all kinds of cool little and that's just kind of how you do it. And so maybe you need to sit down with some people and just start shooting up some ideas, and then other ideas come, and you put it out there and see what works and what doesn't, because you know what? Some of them aren't going to work. Some of them are going to be never going to get found, never going to get read, and you never know what it's going to be.
See, and that's the thing is, one that I can think, everyone's going to want to, know this. It falls through the cracks or something, like it's just nothing. And then another one where I thought was nothing special winds up reaching thousands of people.
You know what, too? I do that. I do that all the time. Like, I'm judging it by me. I'm like, maybe this isn't the best thing to put out because I don't think it's the best thing. And I've got to like get that out of my head because it's not just me. It's not about me. Everybody likes different things. So I need to stop judging it and think I don't think it's very great and just put it out of like, somebody may find this to be totally fascinating. Like somebody may need to hear this today. Somebody may love whatever it is. Like you got to just push it all out because you do not know. And what you think is going to work is not going to be what's going to work. It's the craziest thing. YouTube videos that we've done, podcasts that we've done, like it is not the ones that I'm like, this is the greatest one ever. And it's not. It's the weird random one that I'm like, maybe we shouldn't even post this. It's shit. Yeah. And then everybody loves it. Like you never know.
You don't. I mean, and really, it doesn't matter how much time you even put into it. I mean, as long as it's relevant, useful content, it's good enough. You can always, get fancier and fancier with it, but do you have the amount of time to put into it? Chances are, if you're focusing on your business, you might not.
Well, and you know what I said about the school bus graveyard? We took beautiful pictures and we put them in there. You know what? They are pictures that we took with our phones. I don't think we even edited them. We just picked the best ones, and it's like we let the pictures do the talking because it's really cool. Like if you haven't looked, go to the Through Time website and look at the school bus graveyard pictures, or on either of our social medias. Like we've been sharing them because it's amazing, like what they have done, and cars stacked on top of buses, and graffiti that is beautiful, graffiti that is crazy. Like it's totally worth looking at. So when I say that we put beautiful pictures in there, like it's not that we are photographers, it's that the pictures are freaking cool.
They're fun photos.
Right, they're not anything crazy. So when Sean's writing these posts, Sean is not a writer. Sean does not have a writing degree. Sean didn't hire somebody to write something for him. Sean went and looked some stuff up on YouTube or on Google, put some stuff together. How much time did you spend on
Sean might not even proofread his own stuff.
Sean probably didn't.
Yeah. My window of like time to like actually do this stuff is so small that I try to bust it out as quickly as possible. Somebody emails me and says, "Hey dude, you missed a punctuation," or this.
And they don't say it. They're like, "Fucking moron."
Yeah. I'm like, I'll fix it if I find it. Other than that, I really don't care. I mean, because the thing is too is a lot of times my brain, your brain, it fixes stuff automatically.
It really does.
So, I mean, half the time on a lot of stuff that we have, I just sit and wait to see if anybody even notices stuff that I find out later, and they don't. I mean, they really don't. So it doesn't matter. I hear stories like this all the time about somebody that pushed something, like they were totally not ready, like pushed out a book that had mistakes in it and stuff, and then they got that one email or phone call or whatever that said like, I was going to kill myself and your book made me stop. I mean, like they were like, I could have not put it out. And what would have happened? Like, you can reach people, you can help people without things being super polished and super perfect. You do not have to be a writer to write blog posts. You do not have to be a photographer to put out great photos that are just photos. Well, and to that point, blog posts aren't printed, right? So put it out there. In a few weeks, months, tweak it.
Change it.
And put it out there again.
Really, you don't even have to change it to put it out there again, because people aren't going to see, like when we say put it out there, like share it. Like people aren't going to see it when you share it the first time or the second time or the third time, so keep putting it out.
You could share it every day for weeks.
And people you're
still not going to reach everybody.
They're not going to be annoyed and be like, why do you keep posting that same thing? Except like maybe your mom. She might notice.
Right.
Because she follows you and like 5 people. You know what I mean? Like nobody else is really going to notice or see it that many times. And I know Sean is really great at putting all of his stuff on his Google page. So your Google My Business page. So explain to people how, like, example, the Helen article. You put that on your Google business page, which like super gets a whole bunch of views as well. Tell people how you actually do that, because I don't even know.
So on Google Business, you have a business. You better have Google Business filled out, and it's super simple. Google Business. See if your business is already listed. If you don't already have it claimed, if they've already created something for it, claim it. If there's nothing, create it. And you just filling out information, name of business, contact information, about stuff. But then you also have the opportunity to plug in photos, beyond your logo. Like nobody cares, right, about the logo. Put the logo in there in the logo section, but they want to see pictures, stuff that represents your business, whether it's your merchandise, your location.
So is this beyond your profile?
This is all part of your profile.
Okay, so what about, like, I get these emails from Google for the businesses, because all of our, like, we're both admins on all of the businesses, and so sometimes I get emails that Sean doesn't. So I get these emails from Through Time all the time, and it's like, your picture to 100,000 views. So is that like a feed that you're putting it on, or are you putting it on your profile? Does that make sense?
That's
like,
that's just the Miles Through Time photos.
Okay.
So it would be photos that Google reads as the business putting the photos there, and then because of the type of business it is, other people can also post photos of their visit with the reviews or any of that, because it puts it all together.
Okay.
But you can see which ones are done by the business or whatnot. And then there is also a post section where you can put posts,
are you putting
updates,
photos,
events.
Are you putting photos in
Those photos are not part of your photos. Those are just posts. So if you search...
You need to put them twice then?
Yes.
Okay.
So if you search Miles Through Time or any business, and because you're very strict on the name of the business and all the stuff's filled out, you should see the business profile to the right side of the page. It'll have it's how you get on Google Maps. It'll show pictures. It has your reviews, the contact information, and then if you're posting posts, it'll list the most recent posts there as well, which is just additional ways, information out there that you might as well utilize, because again, they don't charge for it and they like that content. And all I do is one of the photos I put on the blog post, I'll upload as the photo to the post. I'll put a link that takes them to the post and the first couple sentences of the post, and that's it. And so it's there's a picture, that looks intriguing, couple sentences, I want to know more, clicks, takes them back to the website.
So you want to take them back to the website. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, see, and Google likes showing people stuff from Google. So yes, you want to have all the stuff on your website and you want to draw people into your website, but if Google wants to show people Google stuff, like, you need to utilize Google.
Well, and think of your competition, right? If there's 5 other people in your city that do the same thing, but you're the one that's got your Google business page completely filled out and utilizing it with posts, constantly having more photos, you can tell if you look at the photos on Google Business, that it'll share a map of you with the amount of photos you have, and similar businesses with the amount of photos they have. Miles Through Time's like we're way higher than everyone else. Because they're not posting pictures. So it makes it, algorithm wise, we're way more appealing. So no matter what your business is, fill it out. Put as much content in that Google Business listing as you possibly can. Duplicate whatever you're doing from your website and put it on Google Business. Whatever you're posting into social media, photos, anything like that, also put it on Google Business, because Google loves themselves, right? So just put it there as well. And what's going to happen is you're going to fill up all the search results with your stuff that's already on Google, plus everything else that you're doing, and you're going to drown out the competition, where their only option is going to be to pay Google specifically to show their stuff.
So when you do all of these blog posts on your website, maybe a handful a month, you don't have to just let it sit there on your website, but then you go and share it on social and share it on your Google page, and all of those things are bringing back more people to your website. And you don't have to share it once, you share it over and over again. So once you create this one piece of content, this one blog post, it can keep working for you over and over and over and over. And don't delete blog posts. Like, I hate it when clients are like, oh, we already did that, like, that's done, or we're not sure. Like, go ahead and delete that post. No, you never delete the post, because that can still bring people in. You can update it, and maybe if it's for an event, you can say this event is over, or check out our new events here, but you never delete that post, because you want that link to continually bring people in. And like we say, like, it's just the internet. Like, you can update anything. It's not print. You can update it, you can add things to it, you can take things away, you can link them somewhere else, but don't ever, ever delete it.
Yeah, and it is not, if you build it, they will come. It does, like, maybe, if you're really, really lucky, depending on what it is, but in most cases, you gotta work at it. You gotta direct people to that stuff you create.
So, though you do have to direct people, it's not hard to do.
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, none of this stuff is hard, and that's the thing. Like, it does take a little bit of time, and it takes maybe a tiny bit of planning. Like, Sean didn't plan, but Sean is like, you say you do all these posts and it makes you sound like you're, you know, professional blogger or super organized. Sean, are you a professional blogger?
Not at all.
Are you super organized? Are you super detail oriented?
Definitely not. I'd love to be, but no.
Right. Do you have like a schedule of blogging so that you keep it? Do you have like a schedule of when you're going to share your posts?
No, absolutely not.
No, like Sean is just doing it like every day, little bit, every day, little bit.
In fact, a lot of times I don't even think about it until something triggers it, like earlier in this episode where I'm like, hey, I'm going to do the restaurants, you know, or the other antique malls. Like that's how it happens. And then I think on it until I get that window of opportunity to actually do it, which is usually really quick because I only want to, I'm an action guy. So as soon as I think of it, I want to try to get it done as soon as I possibly can, which literally means I cut as many corners as I can to get it out there. And I mean, that's good enough. I can always expand on things too. You can always create that initial blog post, you know, really quick. And then, you know, when you get more information or content, create another one and link it to that first one as a continuation. I mean, there's so many things you can do, which is why one of the important things is having a website that is functional and has the ability to have this blog. I mean, you can get the most simple website out there, and it's not going to do what you want it to do. So it's one of those things that you got to take into account and know that going that little extra step on having a more robust website and including that blog, it can work in your favor if you use it.
Absolutely. And then when you come up with like these ideas like this, like text yourself. Because sometimes like you can't stop what you're doing because maybe you're doing like your regular work or something like that, but text yourself so you have that idea, because ideas are going to come to you all the time. Talk to your spouse, talk to some people in the office, you know, if you have that, talk to some of your employees, talk to some of your friends, like, and start like getting this dialogue of like all these ideas that you can come to, and then just like Sean does, just get them done good enough. Because good enough is enough to help people and answer those questions and get people onto your website and connect with all these other businesses. And blogging is not dead at all.
Nope.
Not at all. And Sean, after you shared that Helen post, you noticed that your traffic went down again. What happened? What did you do?
It went down? No.
No, you said that it, like, after you shared the post, your traffic went back up.
It spiked.
And then you noticed that it came down, and what did you do?
I reshared it.
And what happened?
It went back up again.
Like, it's a wave. It's not like it's one time and then it's dead. Sean's traffic dipped a little bit more, and so he shared the Helen post, and his traffic went up again. Sean could probably go right now and share the post, and guess what would happen to his traffic on Miles Your Time? It'd probably go up again.
Now, anything that I put out there that will take them back to the website, I mean, that's what I always want to do. I want to send them home. I'm going to send them back to the website every single time, because that's where the rest of the information is. If I just put stuff out there that's like, oh, that's great information, but it doesn't actually help me any, like, what good is that? It's a waste of time.
Yeah, so just get it all connected, get it all bringing back to your website, and then if you see our other video that we did about like what's the #1 thing that your website is doing, then your website is working for you. So all these things they're working for you. Your website's working for you, the blog post's working for you, the Google page is working for you, and then they're all working together. It takes a little bit of time, little baby steps that end up being a snowball.
You can do it.
You can do it. I have faith in you. Absolutely. So if you like this episode, we would super appreciate it if you would share it with people that you think may need this information. And we will see you on the next one. If you want to get smart tools to build your business, go to besmartao.com.